What's up, everybody? I'm James Withy, and today we're going to talk about whether or not I would ever get a face tattoo. So this is a question that I have been asked by clients quite a bit. Usually clients that don't like face tattoos would ask me whether or not I would ever get one. And in this video, I'm going to go ahead and answer that question. And I'm going to talk a little bit about face tattoos in general. Not only from a technical perspective, but also a social perspective. So with that said, let me go ahead and just put this out there before I go on with the rest of the video, that if you have a face tattoo, I am not judging you whatsoever. This video is just about my opinion on face tattoos from a professional perspective and also from a personal perspective. And it's about whether or not I would get one. And I'm gonna go ahead and talk about face tattoos in general while I'm coming to that conclusion. But at the end of the day, it is your body. You do what you want to do, and there ain't no, judgment on my part, because I know how that feels being judged for having tattoos that other people wouldn't get. And just because they wouldn't get them doesn't mean that it's wrong for me to get them. So that's not the way that I'm thinking about you guys at all. Do what you want with your body. Be yourself. So with that said, let me go ahead and talk a little bit about my professional experience tattooing faces. I've done quite a few face tattoos. Most of the ones that I did were when I was locked up. And, I've tattooed people's foreheads. I've tattooed like above the eyebrow. I've tattooed under the eye. I've tattooed the jawline. I've tattooed the eyelids. And I have a decent amount of experience with face tattoos, even though I haven't done a giant amount of them. Like, it's not like I specialize in them, but I have tattooed the face several times. And it's a really hard area to tattoo. It's a hard area for a lot of reasons. One is that the skin on the face is much different than the skin anywhere else on the body. It's a little bit thinner, it has more capillaries, it gets overworked more easily. The ink can spread out under the skin and get what we call a blowout more easily, where it looks like a blurred or spread out looking line. And when you put the needle in the skin as a tattooer in the face, things happen very quickly. The ink goes into the skin faster and more abruptly than it would on other areas of the body. So it's really difficult to tattoo because of that. And it's also a very high pressure area to tattoo, because you know that people are going to see this tattoo everywhere this person goes. And it's almost like the difference between like a surgeon doing surgery on somebody's like big toe and a surgeon doing surgery on somebody's heart. Like, there's like a lot, it's both serious, but there's a lot more riding on the heart surgery or the face tattoo, right? And another reason why face tattoos are difficult from the tattooer's perspective on a technical level is because it's an awkward position. So when you're tattooing, you need to stretch the skin to get the skin to be nice and taut so that the punctures are consistent into the skin with the needle. And on the face, that's really difficult to do because we use like a 3-point stretch. We stretch with our thumb, with our fingers, apart like that, and then with our other hand, usually we stretch the skin in 3 different ways and then tattoo in the middle of that stretched area. And on the face, there's just not a whole lot of surface area to do that. And when you do it, it's very awkward because you don't want to cover the person's mouth or their nose, or put your hand on their eye or something like that. So you kind of have to just put your hands on their face in these weird, like, awkward positions to get it done properly, and that increases the degree of difficulty for the tattoo. So for those reasons, doing face tattoos is very nerve-wracking and very difficult. And it's fun, because it's different and it's novel and it's special, but it is a very high degree of difficulty tattoo to do. Now, as far as why face tattoos are such a big deal in society, that is a difficult question to answer. But I think that it's because we just haven't caught up yet with the other areas of the body as far as releasing our viewpoint as a society as a whole, that there is nothing wrong with having a visible tattoo. So a good way to explain that would be like, back in the 1940s, somebody could just have like a tattoo, like a small rose tattoo on their forearm, and people would see that and be like, ugh, and like clutch their pearls and be like, oh shit, like this person must have been to jail, or be like a hardcore sailor, like this person might be like a tough guy or some shit. And that was largely true. And the same thing applies to face tattoos now, where like, it used to be only super like tough asses that didn't give a fuck about life or what anybody thought would get face tattoos. And while that is still largely true, particularly my experience with face tattoos, the first people that I met that had them, I don't know if it's like entirely true anymore. I've met a lot of like just regular Joes that have face tattoos that aren't like, convicts or people that are like entertainers or anything like that. Just regular fucking people just walking around out in the world that have their face tattooed, and they're just doing them. But I don't think society is caught up in terms of recognizing that, hey, a tattoo right here isn't going to jump off of that person's skin and land on my forearm, and now I have the tattoo like it's some infectious fucking disease spreading onto them. They now recognize that it's okay for somebody to have a tattoo on their arm, but they don't recognize that it's okay for somebody to have a tattoo on their face or even their neck. Like, I get judged for the tattoo on my neck quite a bit and stared at, particularly in other countries, and it ain't fun. But even in the US here, where we accept tattoos pretty heavily, we haven't really caught up with that area of the body, with the face. And I think eventually we will, but I think it's also possible that we won't. And the reason why it's possible that we won't is because face tattoos, I think the reason that they stand out and they grab so much attention is because the face is like the first thing that you look at when you meet another human being, right? The human brain is pretty much hardwired to recognize faces. And I mean, we even see them in places where they're not, like in wood grained flooring or in clouds, or you might walk into a dark room and you see like a certain, like a figure we might see, or like a face we might see and be like, oh shit, like there's a little part of your adrenaline that dumps if you get surprised by a face, right? And I think that the reason we recognize faces so easily is because survival, like we want to be able to recognize like eyes looking at us from a bush or some shit from like a caveman perspective, something's going to jump out and come and get us. And B, from a social perspective, like we're looking at people's faces first to ascertain what their intentions are, whether or not we know them, whether or not they're friend or foe, all them sort of things. So when somebody looks at your face, that's the first thing they're going to see when they meet you as a person. And the second thing they're going to see or notice, or maybe even along with that first thing, they're going to notice your face tattoo. So it can be very surprising to people. And I think that's the reason why some people don't like it, is because it's like different and they don't like being surprised or whatever. Interestingly, that's the reason why a lot of people get face tattoos, is because they like the attention. And I know that because I have had conversations with people that have face tattoos, and they're the ones that initiated that particular statement where they were like, I fucking love the way that people, stare at me because I have tattoos all over my face and my head and my neck and all that shit. I like the attention. That's what one of my homies told me. So, and he was a hardcore motherfucker. He has 3 teardrops tattooed on his face, and they're not for no reason. So, some people do it because they like the attention. Some people do it as a middle finger to society, just to show that, to display the fact that they don't give a fuck what other people think. And some people just do it because that's what they like, and they just they don't really care what other people think about it. They're just getting it for themselves, and all of them reasons are actually totally fine. Now, the reason why I personally wouldn't get one is there are a few of them, all right? One is because, like I just said, face tattoos grab attention, a lot of it. And I feel like I already get a little more attention than what I want. This is probably for a whole nother video, but that's actually one of the reasons why I stopped making YouTube videos for a long time, is because I don't like people, staring at me in public all the time. And, I have a big personality. I sometimes can be social out in public, and I talk a lot. And I think that I already grab a lot of attention because of that, even before I had a lot of visible tattoos. Now that my sleeves are filled out and I have this tattoo on my neck, which, I did it to myself. People stare at me quite a bit in public sometimes. And some of it's positive attention, and that's totally fine. And I enjoy that, but some days I don't feel like being stared at, and you really can't. If you have a tattoo on your neck or your face, you really can't turn that off at will. On my arms, I could just wear long sleeves and everybody would think I'm a normal person, but since I have a tattoo on my neck, I really can't cover that. And the same thing applies with a face tattoo. So some people like the attention. I personally don't. That's one reason why I wouldn't get a face tattoo. Another reason is that face tattoos, they don't age very well compared to other areas of the body. And the reason why is because, as I said earlier, the skin on the face is different and it has a lot more capillaries. And those capillaries create little avenues and channels for the ink to be able to spread out slowly under the skin and get blurry over time. And, I've seen a lot of really well done face tattoos in addition to a lot of poorly done face tattoos, but even the well done ones didn't age totally well when compared to other areas of the body. They might not look terrible, but they certainly aren't aging as well as some areas of the body that have a better support structure in terms of skin that the ink is going into and sitting in for long periods. So from a tattooer's perspective, I know a lot of tattooers that have face tattoos, and they get them knowing that. They know that they're not going to age well and that the heal on them is going to be less than ideal compared to other areas of the body. But they get them anyway simply because they want them, and that's their prerogative. But for me personally, I want my tattoos to all age well and heal well. And if a tattoo is not going to age in a really optimal way, I personally don't want that particular tattoo to be on my face. If it's not going to age optimally, but it's an area that, isn't going to be like the center of attention all the time when people look at me, then I'm down to get a tattoo in that area. But because everybody sees face tattoos right away and they don't really age that well, and I feel like my face looks fine the way it is, that's another reason why I wouldn't get one. And lastly, I just don't know if I personally want a face tattoo. I don't know if I identify with it in terms of my self-image, right? Like, I could be a crazy motherfucker, but I don't think that I'm that thuggish, ruggish bone to where I'm gonna go ahead and get a face tattoo, because I feel like, I don't know, I just don't identify with it. It's just not something that I personally want on me. I think a face tattoo might look good on me, but overall I have the suspicion that I would regret it and that I wouldn't want to have it on my face. Not only that, but my mom would probably fucking be ultra pissed. She was already mad when I got the tattoo on my neck, and she was very disappointed in me. Let's just say that. So I didn't really care too much about that. I thought it was a little bit funny, but that is one thing she asked me, was not to tattoo my face. And even though I already don't want one for my own reasons, for me, I also, that adds a little bit to it, that my mom wouldn't want me to. And I've had, women tell me not to tattoo my face either, because, I wouldn't look good with it, or it would kind of subtract from my attractiveness. So maybe for personal identity reasons, and also vanity reasons, and also a little bit of social pressure reasons, I would not get a tattoo on my face. So I feel like that kind of sums it up. That's pretty much what I wanted to say in the video. I probably will never get my face tattooed. I said that about my neck a long time ago. Ended up getting that anyway. But I feel like there's a 99.999% chance that I won't get my face tattooed. And I feel like I did a pretty good job of describing why people get face tattoos and what, kind of technical challenges there are as far as doing face tattoos as a tattooer. So I feel like I covered it all. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them below. If you like the video, hit the like button, obviously. And if you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. Other than that, you have a good day.